have a repeat guest that we've had on before, Nahum Vizakis, otherwise known as the Spiritual Bodybuilder.
Well,
so last time we talked about astrology, because that's you have your hands in a number of different things, but that's primarily kind of what everybody knows you for. But today I want to talk about something super interesting that you're doing, because as we've gotten to know each other and become pretty good friends. Yeah, I mean, you really do a lot of beautiful things, like not just in metaphysics, but in health and fitness too. And microscopy, which is probably going to have a lot of people going, "What's that?" Is something that I thought was just fascinating. So, Nahum is a certified nutritional microscopist. That's a mouthful. A professional astrologer, and just an all-around badass and a very good friend of mine. So we are so happy to have you here today again.
Appreciate you.
How did you get involved in microscopy?
Well, throughout my time competing and discovering and really diving deep into diets and exercise and performance enhancement, I was really going out on the outskirts of figuring out how the body functions, what nutrients it needs and whatnot. And I went to this personal development course. And one of my friends in the personal development course had this microscope. This is back in 2015. So at the time I was working with a chiropractor friend of mine. So, hey, why don't we go down to his place and, check it out, see what's up. Now he worked for a supplement company but they did this, they prick your finger and they take a drop of your blood and they look at your live blood under a microscope. And it was kind of funny, because when the first time I saw it, I was looking at the cells and I was calling out what they were doing, and I was actually teaching the guy that was supposed to be teaching us
just from intuition.
Yeah. So
wow,
I was fascinated by it, and not only that, because it connects to your consciousness, right? So when you're seeing what your blood is doing, you connect with it etherically, and so the people that I've worked with microscopy, when you see what's going on in your blood, you actually understand what's going on in your body, and then you connect the dots. Okay, I'm eating this, and this is doing that.
Wow, I'm getting the chills just you saying that, because I can picture it exactly the way you're saying it.
Yeah. So this really helps us to take, when you go to a doctor, they typically have a compartmentalized format of approaching this information, right? You get blood work done, you can get this information. When we're looking at,
why isn't this a test that they have there readily? You don't ever hear of a doctor going, "Yeah, we're going to look at your blood under a microscope and do some microscopy there."
Right. So when we're looking at the process of oxidation of your own blood in real time, we're able to see the holistic view of what's going on in the body, and we can layer information through the process that I do called flow systems auditing. And when we look at this, we can create a picture for how and why your body is doing what it's doing and why it's in the state that it's in. And then we identify not only the physiological, but the emotional and spiritual aspects of the body, right? Because everything is electromagnetic vibration. So it's what's really trippy, right? Because when I sit down with someone and we're looking at their blood and we start talking and communicating, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they have an aha moment or an epiphany, you can actually see the shift in the blood. It is mind-boggling. And that is just confirmation of string theory or but how our consciousness is connected at the cellular level. It's
quantum entanglement. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah. So
that's amazing.
Right. So I'm a big fan of I always go toward, I have an Aquarius moon, so I always go towards things that other people don't do or don't know.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
So when I found this, and I remember the first time that I saw my blood, it actually changed my life, and that's why I enjoy doing this, because when I saw my blood at the time, this was back in 2000, I think I went to the course in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And I was still taking Adderall and Ambien to go to sleep, and I was I was taking a lot of supplements and stuff, and dude, my blood looked like there was parasites inside my blood.
What?
I saw like the liver damage that was going on in my blood. I saw so much crap in there, it freaked me out.
I bet,
And
does it have that effect on most people when they see that? I mean, because I think a lot of people think they're healthy, but
when you see what's inside of you and then it gets broken
ooh,
down, you can't lie to yourself anymore.
mm-hmm.
So it forces you, not forces you, but it brings up this veil, like it lifts the veil over your eyes. It says, okay, this is what's really going on. Now you have to take responsibility for it, because once you see, you cannot see it. Right?
Jeez, yeah. I mean, I know when you were doing body work on me, and we talked about the malnourished thing, because I thought, oh, I'm so super healthy and meditate all the time. I don't eat meat. Well, it turns out the not eating meat part had a little more of a component to it. So I'm having to reconfigure some things. But that in itself was stunning. So I can't imagine actually being able to see it. That's going to be fascinating. Probably scary moment for me too. But kind of walk me through how, when a patient or client comes to you, what's the process? What do you do?
Well, normally I sit down with them and I have them fill out a questionnaire, to see what's going on. But then I like to look at, the people, in their eyes and say, so why are you here right now? What brought you? I want to know why we are sitting here right now, right? Whether it's an intuitive, or you have an issue going on, or if it just you kind of felt it was time, or whatever cosmic forces brought us together. Let's sit down and let's look at where you're at, so that we can get you to where you want to be. And when we start from that place, that creates, a level of we're being on the same page. Okay.
Yeah.
Patient is open, and we're ready to dive deep, because look, Kristen, you know me, I'm a deep diver. I like
yeah.
So we're going all the way in, and we're going to get answers. So you better
go big and go home.
Right. You better be ready to receive them. Okay.
Yeah.
So we go in and we get the information. And what I've learned over time of doing this is that I actually, similar to with astrology, is that talking and working with the blood, I actually start to channel information from the blood.
Yeah.
So that is a whole nother layer. When you can combine science and spirit together, that is the ultimate form of alchemy, right?
Gosh, this is fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah. So we bring all this stuff together, and and then by the time anyone that I work with, by the time they leave, they're going to have a decisive starting point for where they want to go. And then my job is to help keep them at checkpoints to navigate that process. So
you give them a plan of action, like, here's the problems I'm finding. This is, so do you follow like a formula kind of set to what their illness is?
A lot of my formula is intuitive, because I just channel the energy. So whatever it is that we see, it kind of comes in priorities, right? Like, well, what are you willing to do? What kind of work are you willing to put in? How are we going to do this? What can you stick to? Nothing's good or bad. It's just, okay, well, can you cut out processed food? Can you start to wake up at a certain time? Can you start to go to sleep at a certain time? What are you willing to do? And when
even sleeping, like waking up earlier, that can be seen in the blood. That's crazy.
Well, the effects of like lack of sleep in that.
Okay.
Right, because and again, of course, we're looking at patterns here, so layers of patterns, right?
Yeah.
Behavior patterns in the blood, patterns that are going on in the body, in the mind, they will show up at the cellular structure. So this is, and this is my approach to it. Not everybody that does microscopy approaches it like this, because I'm a firm believer in the cosmos and in astrology and energy. So I feel that bringing it's almost like a live, really in-depth counseling session, right?
Yeah.
We're really connecting to the areas, like, where are your blind spots? Where are you not looking? Where are you hating yourself? Where are you not taking care of yourself? High cholesterol, what emotion is connected to that, right? So we're connecting all these things, because that is where the root of everything is.
I'm sure you must just blow other people away that do this, that aren't from the metaphysical background. They're like, where is he getting all this information from? Intuitively. I mean, what kind of, can you see disease? Can you see people, cancer coming up? Like, you can see all those kinds of things that are coming up, or no?
There are markers, and like I said, as we look at these patterns, we can see what's more likely to occur with particular activities or actions or behaviors. Okay. But of course, like, as a disclaimer, this cannot cure, prove, or whatever, any disease, all that, all that happy stuff, for technicality reasons. But really, we can look into, in fact, what I'm actually really excited about, and this is going to get people's fucking ears, pardon my language, people's ears.
You can cuss.
Is that I've been doing a lot of research and development with the microscope, like before, assessing blood before and after a combo ceremony, right? Or before and after a vibroacoustic sound lounge session, or a PEMF session, and seeing how it affects the zeta potential in the cells. You can actually see that there's a much stronger negative ion charge going on. After a PEMF session, you can actually see the proteins change and shift its structure after a combo session. But what's really going to be interesting is that with all these new big cures coming out from big pharma, the
vaccines,
are we allowed to put on here?
Vaccinations.
Yes. We are going to be able to see how those are hurting the cellular structure. We can see it in real time.
Wow, this is big.
So by creating this quantitative type of data, right? By doing the research and development on this, I think we're going to make some noise here. And,
yeah, I'd say so.
I'm working with some
careful.
Well, I am kidding. Thank God I'm a veteran, right?
Yeah. You got some guardian angels that got your back, for sure. I was just teasing, but I'm the same person. I'm the same way. I like to make noise about things that I don't feel are right. So it's going to be awesome to have that kind of stuff out there for people to see. Here's the evidence.
Absolutely.
Just take a look at it yourself.
Now it's right in front of your face.
Yeah, and that's the thing people can't ignore.
Exactly. But not only that, I remember one time a couple years ago, I was I did an assessment on a friend of mine that was a competitor, and he was having a cheat day, right? So this dude was shredded. He was like 2 weeks out from a bodybuilding competition. Yeah. We looked at his blood, and literally, it looked like there were like little demons in his blood trying to eat his cells. And I was like, bro, what did you just eat? He said, I had McDonald's.
Oh my God.
There was things in there that I didn't recognize. There was like little radioactive looking little like shapes, or like
nanites, like nanites?
No, like fabric, or like little strands, or like pieces of
oh gosh,
pieces of stuff that was not organic. Oh, I mean, not organic. Not of like a real. It wasn't real. Like synthetic.
Wow. I mean, yeah, I refuse to let my daughter ever eat McDonald's anymore, because no, it's just people don't understand how bad it is. I mean, fast food in general, but that's I mean, that's fascinating.
And all these GMOs and stuff, like the GMOs are essentially doing that to our body too. And also on another note, vaping.
Yes.
So with vapes, the way that the electricity heats up, the process in which that electricity heats up, things in people that use vapes, they look like radioactive crystals that show up in people's blood.
Wow. What about the nanites? Because I know a lot of people are having this scare that there's, the nanites that can cause basically us to turn into AI technology, is what kind of the thought process is. Can you see those?
Well, that's so new that I honestly, I wouldn't know what to look for.
Yeah.
But thank God that I have people that are with PhDs that are smarter than me that I know that I work with that hopefully
yeah.
through the research and development, because I have a feeling that that question is going to come up more and more as we dig deeper into this stuff, right?
Oh,
So
absolutely,
so
absolutely.
as and I mean, like, you know, I have a my magnification can only go so far in my equipment. So I don't even know if, like, you know, nanites will come up at that magnification. But you bet your ass that that's something that I'll be looking into as we start to see a lot of people really getting sick from all this new shit coming out.
Well, and also people just getting, haven't you seen that people seem to be like very robotic and just they're just disengaged from humanity. It seems like they're just on, they're
Well,
just
I
going
mean,
program.
you know, yeah, you have to also remember too that we are going through the biggest shift, you know, astrologically in our entire lives.
Sure, sure, I get that, but I still interact with people and say hi, and it just feels like people are like, "Hello, oh, can't talk to you. You're
But
gonna
those
kill
and those people are the ones that are like taking on the narrative that they're trying to
me."
play, the third dimensional dystopian bullshit that they're trying to feed people. It's really
Yeah. Um, how can you have you looked at under the microscope, like channeling and things like that, and intuition? Like, does that show up when people are, doing psychic work, for example? Can you see any of that in the blood, or do you see any changes
well, like I said
versus
earlier,
like?
like when someone has an epiphany or an aha moment, you can actually see a shift in the blood. But I haven't had enough of those to really make a correlation to like anything specific yet. I need to do more work on that. But you bet
That'd be
I
great to do a study on something like that for intuition, because that's something that they really haven't looked into. I think looking at the blood, and I mean, also plasma has such an important
will.
meaning, not just to our physiology, but.
There is so much stuff in the blood. I mean, look at PRP therapy, right? They take out some of your blood, they put it in a centrifuge for a couple
Mm-hmm.
minutes, and it separates different parts of the blood. Then they isolate the growth factors that are already in your blood. They take a concentrated version of that, and then they inject it into an area of your body that needs healing. Literally, your own body healing itself. So
Yeah,
the
that's
whole idea
fascinating.
of like that you need something outside of yourself to heal yourself is completely just quackery. It's asinine.
Well, guys, you heard it here first. I mean, I'm totally of that mind as well. But we've got everything we need right here. I mean,
Exactly.
this machine is the most efficient machine if we use it correctly that's
Our
ever
DNA
been
is smarter
created.
than anything out there,
Oh yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
We just have to
yeah.
trust.
Yeah, I think people are, I mean, it feels like people are more open to that process now. And I hope it's just going to keep going. But we'll get into some of that stuff and what's coming up later on in the segment. But so to keep kind of on the microscopy stuff, what are some different things that you can find out about a person, like from like their history to their, like, can you see what age they're going to pass away, or can you see anything like that? Like, what kind of stuff can you see in the blood?
So, I mean, we can see anything from if their electrolytes are out of balance to if their liver is stressed to if they're emotionally unbalanced. We can see if there's parasites, heavy metal toxicity, what organ the heavy metal toxicity is in. We can see if the lymphatic system is struggling, if the immune system is struggling, if the structural system, like the bones are weak. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
we can see if you're having an allergic reaction, if your immune system, what if there are certain types of immune cells are active, what that might mean that you're fighting off. And I can also I can look at saliva, I can look at urine, I can look at technically feces, I can look at semen and vaginal secretions. I can look at everything, and I can get information from every secretion there is, and each one tells a story. So like literally, like I can see swimmers in there. Like for a guy, if
Yeah.
he's was it virile, then
Very, yeah. Uh-huh.
I don't really know. I'm not going to be running a wax shop at my house, but you know,
Have you been able to look at like people who practice tantra and stuff like that? Like, can you see that in the blood? Does that show up as like, and does it look any different?
Does what
Because
look?
it, like, does the blood look any different, or is there any aspect, or I guess the semen or whatever, fluid you happen to be looking at? Because what makes me think that it would is because you can channel that energy into spiritual energy,
Mhm.
that sexual energy. So I'm just curious, because it seems to me like that would change the blood somehow, or change it somehow.
I'm sure it could. That'd be interesting. I haven't gone down that road yet, but this just having this conversation opens the floodgates to so much more possibility. It's absolutely amazing, right?
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm stoked about this. Like we were talking earlier, I was kind of thinking about getting into it. Now I'm more convinced that I
Yeah,
want to do this. This is awesome.
love it.
Um, and also, I've been dealing with this stuff with my dad, so I'm really like gung ho on finding some kind of solution to help him out, because he's just in so much pain.
Mhm.
And are you able to see things about pain, like the source of pain sometimes
Yeah,
in the blood?
usually in the dry blood will show us certain markers for like if there's been surgeries or accidents, or even I've even seen like early childhood trauma. It has a distinct
Wow.
it has a distinct mark in the blood, or I should say an absence of blood. There's usually like a blot there that is just there's no life in a certain spot that is represented as a representative of a part of the body. Um, but what really makes a difference is that when you look at this and you are telling the story of what the blood
Mhm.
is saying while they're sitting right there, they're bringing their consciousness into it. You're bringing your consciousness into it, and it's actually activating the subconscious mind, searching and looking for, wow, did that happen? Did this happen? And this process in and of itself can actually clear trauma,
Oh, wow.
right?
Okay. Yeah, that makes complete sense. I hadn't thought about it that way. I thought, okay, it can probably cause like a spontaneous spiritual awakening too, for people who don't, haven't gone through
Anything
that.
possible, like, because
Yeah.
really what is awakening? It is awareness,
Hmm.
right? So,
Yeah.
and especially with all these energies right now, it's
Jeez.
it's who knows what can happen. I mean, after all this shit, we're gonna be seeing like people, empaths and everything coming out with like superpowers and shit. And I so I'm really excited. I think I'm gonna do my own microscopy on the 21st and kind of see
Oh,
what.
you're starting on the 21st? Awesome.
Yeah, might as
And
well.
how much is it for people to come to come and visit with you and get a session and
So
find out?
so just for live and dry blood cell analysis, $40.
That's it. Wow.
That's it.
I mean, you guys heard it, $40. And where do they, can you tell them your website, so where they can find you? And I'll put this link in the bio as well.
Yeah. So the one caveat to this particular service is that you have to physically be here, right? Because
Okay. In Las Vegas. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So unfortunately, I can't get around to everybody. If I could, I would. But it's spiritualbodybuilder.com. Okay. If you'd like more information on microscopy, you can go to fitprotherapy.com. I'm in the process of merging these websites and creating a whole new like scheduling system, but that's still not fully developed yet.
And everybody goes to Vegas anyway. So, next time you guys are in Vegas, you can get your blood checked
Well,
out.
yeah, come on down to Vegas and come get your blood checked out. I got you.
Absolutely. And when you add astrology into that too, I mean, you just must get the whole friggin' picture, like boom, 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 right there.
Well, yeah, and then add in the sound lounge.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Jeez. Talk about an experience. Like, yeah, like when someone comes to see me, there is no way they are not leaving transformed. That's just
This is true. I can speak from experience,
I
100%. And I
here
haven't even had my blood checked yet.
I'm here to transform people's lives in whatever way that I can. And now, like, I have manifested all the means to do so. And I feel like this is sort of like my full throttle, like, let's make it happen.
Culmination of
Right?
everything. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I meet a lot of people in my line of work in our line of work that are great people, but it seems like you just have it dialed into health, fitness. The whole package is just all together, and you can look at every aspect. And so there were so many things that I really didn't pay attention to. That I was able to, through working with you, look at and analyze, and it's amazing. I mean, I can vouch for truly a transformational experience. Yeah,
yeah.
that is. But how long does it take to get the results back for people?
Well,
Or
the
is it
result,
right then and there?
yeah, like you sit down, finger prick, you look at it. It's usually for a full assessment or audit, whatever you want to call it. It'll probably go about 30 minutes.
Okay.
You sit there, and I actually I encourage people to like take a video or like audio when they're getting it done, because as we're developing this story, there's gonna be a lot of information to take in. You may want to listen to it again, or see it again for a second time. So
what kind of solutions do you, I know you said it like comes to you intuitively, but what kind of solutions do you have for people that are going through different things? Like, is there some kind of therapy, or like blood replacement therapy, anything like that, that's kind of, your go-to for kind of getting people healthier?
well, really, what I find at the core of and this is a generalization, but most people, they just need to restructure their mind and restructure their daily habits. It
Yeah.
really comes down to believing you can do it and cutting the shit out that's hurting you, and doing more.
Develop a new habit. It takes 2 weeks, for something to turn into a habit.
So I give recommendation. I've been a coach for a long time. That I give recommendations, and I give and I strongly encourage people to do certain things. But at the end of the day, the point is that you have to find like the happy medium where you both meet together, and that you're going to follow through with the work. Because what happens a lot of times is that people get this plan, this like structure, this thing to do, and then they fall short on it because it's not really in alignment with exactly what they want to do, because they don't even know what the hell they want to do, because they're still trying to find themselves, right? Yeah. So it's important to focus on shifting the behavior first, and as you shift the behavior, you become the solution. And
do you work with people on that level as well to help them manifest and shift their behavior to change? Okay.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, that's really like the core of everything that I do, no matter what aspect. Right?
Yeah. What's kind of one of the craziest experiences you've had with a client where something was just like, wow?
As far as microscopy, or?
Yeah, as far as a microscopy goes.
What's one of the craziest things that I've ever seen?
Yeah, one of the most kind of transformational, I guess, or just one that stands out to you that you can talk about. That kind of blew somebody's mind.
Well, going back to that bodybuilder that I told you about, I know he never ate McDonald's again. That's for sure. Oh, here's one just came out. So I was working with a dear friend of mine and his family. Right, I was over their house, and his next door neighbor called while I was over there. And they said, "Hey, our 6-year-old daughter just got vaccinated. And she's going blind in one eye." Holy fuck. Oh my God. They were freaking out, and my buddy was like, "Well, hey, come on over here. Let's take a look and see what's going on in there." Right? So she came over, and when I looked, it was freaky. It looked like literally like her, like similar to the McDonald's story, where there was these it looked like demons in her blood, just destroying her cells. It was creepy. But unfortunately, at that time, I didn't really know, because she had just gotten that literally, and she was in the process of going blind. She couldn't see out of one eye, and her other eye was starting to wither away too. Her optic nerve was shutting down, and it was just so painful and sad. I personally, I don't understand how people can live with themselves. You know what I mean? Like putting that out to the world. It's just this innocent, beautiful little 6-year-old girl was just living her life, and then she get this to supposedly protect her, and it literally, I don't know whatever happened to that little girl. I hope she's okay. But
it's tragic. It's tragic what happens to people. My daughter had this was the only time she got her first round of vaccinations. The only time after that, I was like, I'm done. She had 106 temperature, and the doctor, was a pediatrician, was like, oh, that's normal. I'm like, no, it's not actually. Her body is fighting off something. And so I was able to go to a doctor, a pediatrician who tested these different markers and said she cannot get any. It's not, tither test is what it's called.
Okay.
It's not safe for her. And thankfully, because I live in California where it's mandatory for her to go to school, she has this tither test that says, nope, she can't tolerate them. So the one I was most concerned about was the measles, mumps, rubella, the one that, the autism one. But that was something that intuitively came to me too. Because my ex-husband is a nurse, so he was very much into public health. And right. All of a sudden I was like, whoa, we're not doing this. I don't know why. I just had a really bad feeling. And when I have that, I know there's no, you can't change my mind. I was like, we're out of here. Yeah. Sure. I was like, call time out on that. But yeah. So what advances are they making? What new advances are they making in the field of microscopy? We had talked about, the different like nanites and things like that, but what's kind of coming out next? What are they looking at using, or how the different ways to use it, I guess?
Well, I think that, the way I'm experimenting with it is sort of like, I don't know anybody else that's doing this. So to be honest, I don't know.
Are you going to publish your results? Are you going to do
well, in order to really do that, like I need funding and I need like a whole system backing. There's not enough time in the day to help people. So yeah. It's like I'm doing like it on my own, before and afters. But of course, I'm going to share the results with our communities. But hopefully at some point I'll be able to get some funding and actually really be able to, make a dent in this experience and bring it up to a whole new level.
Yeah. So listeners, if you, are looking for a good investment, this is it. I do the same thing with my results and my readings. I publish my findings every month on my accuracy rate. Which I do in a survey. And I've really tried to work with my old professor of parapsychology at TCU to get the perfect formula down to be able to test it, because I thought it was important for people to know kind of what somebody's accuracy rating is, or at least have some kind of standard, to start from. Okay, because you don't really know how does this person stack up to the next, when it comes to intuition. Yeah. So that's something that you're looking to change, is kind of proving different things about intuition.
Yeah, 100%. So
have you looked at, does it show anything with different kinds of substances, like addiction behaviors, and then also plant medicines and things like that? Are you able to see that?
Well, I've done one video actually, and it's on my YouTube channel, before and after combo. And that was pretty fascinating. I have not done any other. Oh, I did a PEMF one too. I did not get to record that one though, but that one was pretty fascinating. Because we looked at it before a PEMF session and after a 20-minute PEMF session to 3 people in a row. And each person, you could actually see the cells were more jubilant. They were fuller and more alive, and they took significantly longer to die off, which means that this electron field, which is also known as the zeta potential around the cells, was much stronger. All the cells were actually more protected from this heightened negative energy.
Wow.
Right?
So what does that say about adrenochrome then and stuff? People always wonder if this is a real thing. I think this kind of validates that people could be using it in this manner, right?
Adrenochrome.
You've heard of this? Is what Hollywood is using?
I know what adrenochrome is, but I don't really know any. I know it's excreted from a terrorized child's freaking brain, which is beyond disturbing.
When they have extensive fear state, they're in a heightened state of fear. Yeah.
So, but as far as when they re-inject it or when they consume it, what it does to them, or their cells, I have no idea. But it would be I'm really fucking curious to know. I would love to do so, but I doubt somebody is going to just say, here, let's fucking do this.
No, I mean,
You
everybody
bet
does
your ass
tell
that I'm
me
going to be on here fucking showing everybody if that's the
yeah,
case.
no shit. But you know, everybody always thinks like, oh, that's such bullshit. But I'm looking at pictures of like different celebrities, like, yeah, there's no freaking way they look younger today than they did,
Yeah.
you know. And it's like, okay, certain plastic surgery can certainly do that, but there's something. I mean, and my intuition's always told me, okay, we have like it has to do with our blood plasma and you know the sun plasma, everything. It all ties in. It's all one big picture.
Well, thank God, like we have this new, you know, whole field of research coming and research and medicine coming out that's getting much more popular of stem cells and exosomes now, which are
Like integrative medicine approach.
yeah, well, you're able to, you know, basically intravenously inject or spot inject these stem cells, or exosomes are better. They're basically like pre-stem cells, and these cells are basically like bright, open, brand new cells that are just ready to communicate with the DNA, and it can rebuild collagen, rebuild connective tissue, rebuild organs, rebuild anything in your body that is suffering. And I think that that's going to be like a big thing for the future as well.
Have you done anything like this before with the injecting of stem cells? And
Well, actually, so right now I have a torn, you know, shoulder, tricep,
yes,
line.
yes.
So, and I am determined not to get surgery. So I am in the process of saving up to get stem cells done, and I am going to do the microscopy before and after and see what the difference is in the cells. And I think that's going to be pretty cool to see.
Wow, that is going to be really cool to see. Yeah, because that's a big choice. Not and most people would you know opt for the surgery. It's easier and it's like bang boom. Yeah, and I think you're gonna really show people what you can do. You
Yeah, I'm
know,
excited. I'm excited. I feel like this. I feel like this big, like just super big epiphany aha moment, like refreshed, being reborn. I feel like this big like
you can
reborn.
see it in your aura, though.
Yeah,
It's very
it's
apparent.
it's
Yeah,
coming. It's right there, and it's like, yeah, give it to me.
bring it.
Oh,
It's time.
right?
Well, so on that note, because you're a man of many talents, you do a lot of different things. Let's jump into the astrology part, you know, real quick, if you don't mind. And for the folks that have, I guess, kind of been living under a rock, I'm hopefully none of my listeners fall into the category. But if you do, explain a little bit what's coming up astrologically in December and beyond.
Well, December 21st is coming up, which is the biggest energetic uh, upgrade that we're ever going to experience in our lives. And this is because Jupiter and Saturn are conjoining in a place they haven't been in 800 years. We are shifting into a whole new paradigm, not only because it's because of the degree and the placement, but also with everything else going on at the same time. There is multiple aspects that are happening that are purging out the old versions of us, right? And they're coming into a new understanding of our own consciousness. We are getting upgraded. I mean, there's coronal flares coming off of the sun that's supposed to be shooting
They're visible, yeah.
a huge amount of gamma radiation around the Earth, which supposedly we're going to be able to see the aurora borealis.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that they were talking about that, and I mentioned to you before we got on the show. I've been seeing numerous. I mean, I see UFOs quite frequently, but this many. And my boyfriend was with me. He always thought this was quackery, of course. And then he was like, "Whoa!" I mean, 4 nights in a row, they're everywhere out here. So you know, things are definitely changing, and like invisible spots, like where people are. You know, so it's kind of like disclosure coming along.
Right. And what I'm seeing in a lot of people doing astrology reports too is that a lot of people with solar return charts in December and in early January, mine's one of them, massive upgrades, transformations, just whole new lives being built. Everything is going to change. It's hard to really see or believe right now because like we're still on the cusp of it, like cracking through the other side.
Yeah, I agree with you. I can see it. I mean, I see it too. So I know, and I felt it too. It's just this energy is so strong. At first, it was like, Jesus, give me a break for a minute. Like this is,
Right.
but now it's starting to integrate, and it's like, all right, I got this, and you can use it. It's very readily accessible to use, and it's so quick, and it's like, man, I can channel this into energy or here or whatever I want to do, and I'm so much more powerful in that moment. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got that right.
So what do you think is going to be happening on December 21st? Like, actually, do you think there's going to be this big coronal ejection, and people are going to have just like start freaking out if they're not intuitive? What do you think? It's going to be more subtle, or what?
I don't think it's going to be subtle, but I think it's going to be internal and not external. I don't think we're going to really see anything external, but people are going to be feeling things. Aha moments, epiphanies, maybe not on that exact day, but literally like this week and next week, there's a lot of change going on in people's lives.
Yeah. Premonitions for me have just been off the charts too, with the fire and everything. Like, it's getting California. I'm like about ready. I'm ready to hit the road, Jack, because I see some stuff on the horizon, and I trust it's getting a little dicey here.
Absolutely, it's time to peace out. Well, Vegas. A lot of people move to Vegas.
Yep, it's definitely on the to-do list. So we've been looking at different stuff. So I'd love to be out there, and it just seems like it's funny. So many people from California moved to Texas, which is where I'm from now. Now Texas is having this big, vaccination deal where they were vaccinating so many people mandatory. Like, and I'm wondering. Oh yeah, it was just I just saw in the news. And I was like telling my parents, do not.
You're mandating them there in Texas?
So it wasn't mandatory, but there was like the first, what is it? I think they did like 1,000, and they were really doing all this outreach to people who had no idea what it entailed and the consequences of it. And people are getting Bell's palsy. I mean,
did you see the video of that nurse fainting as she was saying that she's so happy she took? Well, wait a minute, you're gonna go die for a minute, but I'm happy I took it because now I'm dead.
Woo! Yeah, I mean, it's scary. 7 people have already. I mean, this was a couple days ago that 7 people died. I'm sure that number is just.
It's just gonna kill. Don't get it. Not.
Yeah, I mean, I know. I'll probably get taxed for this, but I really have to. It has to be talked about. I'm not somebody that can filter myself, and neither are you. Which is like, which is why I love talking to you, because people really need to know, man. Do your research. Shit is scary. Just what's going on with the wearing masks and stuff like that. Kids are getting asthma. I mean, I see my daughter like struggling to breathe, and I'm like,
it's insane. Like the whole idea that wear a mask to protect them. Like, dude, I've had enough narcissistic relationships in my life to know that I'm gaslighted by these fucking douchebags. Okay, I'm not playing your fucking game. I'm not fucking.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I have too. So yeah, I definitely don't find that shit either. It's like,
I fucking think so. God, that brings the Aries fucking fire out of me, man. I'll tell you, like, no, you are not. No, I've done my due diligence. I've done my work. I've gone to fucking combat. I put in my work. You are not fucking taking my shit. No, I don't think so.
And even just being a normal civilian person, I've still earned the right to be me
100%,
and make decisions about my own fucking life.
It's our
and my kids. Life. Yeah. Hell yeah. I mean, and it's just we're free people. I mean, if we follow what the Constitution says, and people just really, if they don't take our word for it, but just go and delve into it. Look at some of the facts that are maybe not mainstream, but they're out there. Okay. Right. Doctors are coming forward. Doctors are talking.
Everywhere. I watch The High Wire a lot. Del Bigtree, and he just had some an Asian doctor that has been teaching immunology for 30 years. Come on.
I had an immunologist on the podcast to talk about.
Oh, damn. Okay. Yeah, and he explained in very, very realistic, like practical detail you can understand how this shit works.
And PCR testing is bullshit. It's not even that accurate.
Exactly. The guy who created the PCR test said that Dr. Fauci is a douchebag. He doesn't know shit. I mean, come on, people. Like, fucking wake
And the
up.
whole premise of virology is to isolate the RNA, and PCR testing doesn't isolate the RNA. So basically, we don't even know if this is a real virus. You know, it's like,
It's all based on false pretext.
yeah, here.
This whole scam is a fucking lie. And everybody that has a brain and takes responsibility for their life knows this. But you know, there are people. It's a depopulation agenda, right? They're coming in, and a lot of people are walking right into the fucking slaughter, just like cows. And they're
And
gonna.
people don't realize the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, they own most of the World Health Organization. I mean, it's not on the books, but you can go research it. They own a good share of the World Health Organization. They actively speak about depopulation. I mean, hello, ding, ding, ding. You know, it's
like they're not even hiding it. So
no, then they don't need to. You know,
this is where it's almost like some people are getting stubbornly like, oh, you're trying to resist this system that has kept me safe. I'm going to show you. I'm going to go get this V, and I'm going to go trust the system because they have our best interest at heart, and they're the ones that are just going to get slaughtered. And hey, if that's your belief,
it's sad. It's sad.
Don't try to impose your fear on me because you think that you're doing something right. Your self-righteous ass is fucking doing nothing good for this world. Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I love it when people have that aha moment where they realize, like, oh shit, maybe there's something to this. And then they start, like my parents, they started researching more and more, and they're like, oh my God, none of this makes any sense. And my dad, he called me up and he was like, is it true that all the curriculum for all physicians in every university is made by the Rockefeller Institute? I'm like, damn Skippy, it is. I'm like, doesn't that? He's like terrified. He was like, what the hell?
So, you know, actually, when I went to my microscopy course, so the gentleman that taught this course, he had a double PhD, okay, and he created this, and he actually taught and showed us how it's called crooked theory now, but he showed us how the heavy metals, predominantly from the V's, but from other things too, like chemtrails and processed foods and things like that, how they are actually what's killing us off, basically, and it's
heavy metals,
a slow and steady Holocaust, and we're doing it to ourselves.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
And and that's he showed us how we could see it under the microscope. So that's why, and not to mention, I was injured by a V back in the day when I got out of the military. So
that's true.
I had to recover and I had to clean the shit out of my own system because, you know, when you go overseas, you get shut up with all that experimental shit. And I wondered why I felt like I was going nuts. Right?
Yeah.
It's a big fucking experiment. That's all it is.
What did you do to clean yourself out?
I mean, everything I've been doing exploring for the last, 10 years of my life.
But for people who are just starting on this journey, what are some things that they can do?
You basically have to live a life of detoxification in every way. Infrared saunas, coffee enemas, or now they're saying coffee enemas are no good for you, but they work for me. Okay, or colon hydrotherapy, heavy metal cleanses. Eating good organic, foods, juice fasts, fasting in itself.
Fasting in itself. Yeah. Wow.
Ayahuasca, all these different medicines and things that help clean you out, alkalinize your body, and open up your consciousness. It's all interconnected, but all these things hit people's bodies differently. So, the crooked theory basically states that whenever there's a trauma and if there's heavy metal sitting in the body, when the immune system gets activated, it thrusts all those heavy metals into that particular area. Now, this could be psychological or physiological. So these things can be thrust to the brain, thrust to a joint. If you had a massive amount of traumas over a 5-year period of time, you could have them all over your body or in your organs. Like, if you have PTSD and you're drinking a lot, like the trauma to your liver, all these things add up, right? So we're basically poisoning ourselves with poison, and then the fix is a poison to poison the poison that's poisoning you. So you're essentially just killing yourself faster and faster and faster with being told that you're doing good, you're going to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
no thanks. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and take my chances with some other things.
Society today, and that is the textbook definition of gaslighting. We are one.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
Right?
Yeah, I hadn't thought of it that way, but damn.
Why do you think the most common dysfunctional relationship is an empath and a narcissist? Right? They're all out there because we are conditioned to think and feel that way. But now, if the empaths with these astrological aspects are happening, the empath's vibration is raising because we have a deeper capacity to be able to feel. And it, as much as it sucks and it hurts when we're going through the dark night of the soul, we have the capacity to feel that higher vibration too. And now the tides are turning, and as that's turning, we're activating this new place in our consciousness where we are going to be teaching people through what we feel is right. We're going to be teaching everybody else what is better. I don't want to say right.
We're activating people too every day just by putting the message out there. It's really phenomenal. And just in the last year, the last year has been really big for me. It's like everybody I meet, and you included, has just really been the best people, and the people that are supposed to be in my life, and the people that aren't just fall away. And it's upsetting, but it's like, wow, man, it truly is just this culmination of everything, mind, body, and spirit right now. And it's getting more and more exciting the closer we get to the 21st. And I myself cannot wait. I
love it.
And
Me too.
I know I get a lot of people asking me on my website, what can we do to prepare for this shift? So let me ask you that. And what are your thoughts? Because a lot of people can't handle the energy right now. It feels very heavy to them. I know it did with me initially.
Yeah. Self-care, self-love. Just prioritize self-care and self-love is all you can do. There's nothing because preparing essentially is ego, right? So the closer you can get to just being and sitting with it and just loving yourself, taking care of yourself, it's moving through you anyways. So trying to prepare for something is actually resistance to that process.
Wow. God damn, you always have such prolific things to say. I love it. Like, just fucking love yourself. That's it. That's all you got to do. It's not that difficult, but it's so hard for a lot of people. I mean, shit, it took me 20, 30 some odd years to figure it out.
Me too.
Yeah, but once you get it, I call it, being in the vortex, where it's like
just be
nothing goes wrong, and it's like everything's just coming together, boom, 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 and it's all right.
Attract, let it magnetize, let it come to you.
Yeah, don't seek it out, don't pull everywhere it strings. Just know it's going to happen. Stand in your power, speak your truth, and be confident. And and love yourself, like Nahum said. That's a beautiful formula, I think. And I love that you said that. That's something I think hasn't been put out there really. Everybody's talking about, try to get more sleep, just move it through your chakras, make sure your chakras are all balanced, and which that's all great. Of course, more meditation, that helps too. But you're absolutely right. The best thing that works is just knowing, hey, it's gonna all fucking be okay. It's all good. And you love I love me. I'm happy with me. It really does calm it down. And it's like, yeah. And you can also use this energy and channel it into manifesting whatever you want. And it's becoming so much more instant now. Like, I'll have a thought about something. I don't know if this has been happening to you. And I can change the dynamics of a situation pretty fucking instantly.
Manifestation is happening like that right
now. It's bizarre. It's like, it's like boom, snap of your fingers. It's kind of like real magic is actually happening.
Yeah. I'm seeing things clear and end right now really fast, just constantly. It's like I didn't even know that was just going on. Okay, cool. Goodbye. Like it's just like exiting my auric field. It's like it's all clearing and ready for the new stuff to come in. Right?
Yeah. And can we talk a little bit about ayahuasca? And I know you we haven't really gotten into this. I haven't done it myself. I'm going to soon. I've been feeling the call. I think this is a very important component of purging the old stuff and taking in the new. And I know you just recently had a pretty profound experience with it. But what do you say?
Experience with grandmother ayahuasca.
Yeah. Where do you suggest people start this journey? How do they know if they should, if they shouldn't, and how do you find a reputable place, and things of that nature?
So because of the legalities of it, you really, technically speaking, I would say you need to go down to South America or Central America. But right now, you can't travel a whole lot. So there's a fine line here, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But I will say
hopefully the laws will be changing at some point, because it should be a religious right, or a spiritual right to be able to.
I agree, and I think that's in the process of happening. But for all intents and purposes, parts of that question I cannot answer.
Sure, absolutely.
But I can talk about my experience. Right?
Yes, please do.
So for me, ayahuasca is every time I sit with her, that's my school, that's my education. All right, I lay down and I open up my receptive energy and I just, teach me, please. And she comes in, and whatever it is that I need to learn at that time, I've learned over the years to not attach to it, because the ego is a fickle thing, and it can really, even working with that medicine, the ego can attach, and everybody has their own journey, but this medicine knows your spirit better than your ego does, so to speak, right? So it separates your consciousness and helps you observe your own ego from a higher perspective, and allows you to see your own bullshit, and brings up all the things that how you get in your own way. And sometimes it doesn't. You
can't ignore it, right? You can't ignore it when it's right there.
Sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. And sometimes, like, I've made some life-changing decisions from visions that I've received in ayahuasca, and some of those decisions, created what I like to call tower moments in my life. But they had to happen that way so I could learn, because I was a stubborn motherfucker. Right.
You and me both. Yeah.
So and I actually spoke about this on my live this past Tuesday. But one of the biggest ones that I got ever was, it was like my second ceremony, and I had this, and I was with my girlfriend at the time that, like, I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. Yeah. I thought she was my twin flame, and I was just madly oogly boogly in love, and so I thought. And so I had this vision of us being married, sitting on this throne and like a castle, on top of clouds, and we had kids, and everything was perfect. It was like I was Zeus and she was my queen, and so, like, after that ceremony, I went and I borrowed $6,000 from a friend that I didn't have to buy a ring and to put it on her, to ask her to marry me, and I did. I asked her to marry me at this big I was doing this coaching thing for a celebrity. And she was having this opening thing, and I had it there at that thing, and I was so nervous I could barely fucking hold my hand straight. And we moved in, and literally within 3 weeks we were done.
Wow.
And what I came to realize from that is, like, my ego wanted, like, it projected onto this one person, but the vision was showing me what I truly want in my heart, right? But I attached my ego to, it has to be this
to person. That person. Yes.
It has to be this way. And when I try to force it to be that way, instead of going within and looking at myself and seeing what is going on within myself that's preventing me from having this, right? So what this woman did was, it was a very, like, super sexual relationship, right? Like, she taught me a lot about my sexuality, let's put it that way. Yeah. And it brought up all these insecurities, like this possessiveness, these self-worth and self-esteem issues that I didn't even know I had. Because at that time, I was jacked, I was shredded, I was a good-looking dude, like, but I was so fucking insecure that, and we couldn't communicate, because both of us were in our egos, and both of us were triggering the fuck out of each other, right? And it got so bad that we literally could not be around each other at one point.
Was it like you couldn't figure out, like, in those relationships, like, what the fuck were we even fighting about, but you can't stop fighting?
It was like we wanted each other so bad, but we didn't trust each other. Like, I thought she was like what she gave to me, like, I thought she was giving to everybody else. And then I was so paranoid about it, I actually manifested that. She started stripping again, and then she found something else. And it was absolutely terrible. but I manifest that because I was looking through her phone and looking through her shit and fucking with this, or who's this guy, who's that guy, not like, and like I cannot, looking back, I cannot even believe I was that person. But I was love drunk, or I would say attachment drunk. I was attached to this idea of how it needed to look, and I didn't believe that she could love me back because I didn't love myself. So that set me on this super deep journey the next few years to learn what my part played in that. And so I stepped back and said, you know what? If she's meant to be with me, she will. And I'm going to go in this deep dives into myself because I want to be the best version of me for her. Now, at that time, I needed her for that motivation to be able to do that, right? But at the end, I came to realize that really I need to do it for me. And through the process now, like I faced, you know, my addictive nature. I faced like all these ego ideas of what I wanted that not really were in line with my heart, right? With what society told me that it was supposed to be.
And the stuff that you ignore, that you're like, yeah, okay, I don't really want to pay attention to this right now.
Exactly. So it was between that and my daughter being born are the two most profound experiences in my life that really changed my life.
Now, some people talk about, having scary experiences. And what's your feeling on that? Is it just truly what you believe will happen? Or is it, no, it's going to bring up shit that's going to, scare the shit out of you or trigger the fuck out of you. And that's why it's happening.
Whatever has been suppressed needs to come up. So it depends on how ready and willing you are to face yourself. Bottom line. Okay. Sometimes when this shit comes up, people are like, whoa, I didn't expect that. Where the fuck did that come from? Right? And literally it was my second night in my first ceremony. I remember like my first night, like I was super nervous, right? I drank and I was like, oh shit, like my heart was beating out of my chest because I didn't know what to expect. And then when it came over me, I was like, I felt light, I felt warm, I felt love, I felt joy, peace, I felt fucking amazing. I had never felt so happy and blissful in my life.
Wow.
Then, because I was expecting it to be bad, right? Then, because Mother Ayahuasca is smarter than the ego, okay? So that opened my trust up. The next night, I was walking in like, all right, let's go. I'm ready. Let's fucking drink, right? Drink the next night, and bam, all of a sudden, this like feeling of doom and terror comes over me. I'm like,
oh, damn. It sounds like she has a funny sense of humor, too. Like,
right? And literally, like, I went so deep that, like, that was my first real major ego death that second night. And I literally thought I was dying. There was a point. Have you ever seen the movie Lucy?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that movie. Yeah.
Okay, so you know when Lucy is in the plane,
in the bathroom,
and she starts to like dissolve.
Yeah.
Literally, I remember I was on my hands and knees, okay, and my arms were dissolving. I felt like I was in quicksand, and I was trying to hold myself up. I literally and then I look up, and then suddenly like the shaman's right over me singing to me and like get like just pumping the shit out of me. And there was like a hurricane going on in my brain. I thought I was literally dying.
I have had, now that you say that, it brings up this memory. I had something similar happen when I was meditating. This is about 2 years ago, after my divorce. For about 3 hours a day, I would go in my closet, like in the dark. My parents thought I was losing my mind, but I was so like addicted to it and deep in it. But I had this moment where I thought I could leave here. I could just leave and disappear. If I want to. And it scared the fuck out of me all of a sudden. I was like, whoa. And I felt truly like I could cease to exist on this plane. And it felt like what you were talking about, but it was pure love. And, I felt all of those things at the same time. But I was like, whoa, my daughter, like, whoa, no. And I had to stop meditating for a while like that because,
Wow,
I went too deep and, I don't know.
For me personally, there's no such thing as too deep because I love going deep.
Right. But I think, having, and I do too, but having a child, it's like, man, I'm all about no attachments and stuff like that, but that's a fucking hard one to get over,
I agree. My daughter has been my biggest learned lesson in attachments, right? That has definitely changed my life in the deepest way. So I completely get what you're saying. The idea is to not let attachments stop you from living your full expression of life, right? So there's a polarization there, and we just have to find the balance where the polarization doesn't, shift too out of alignment.
Sure. And I was reading afterwards, like different gurus and things like that, people who do a lot of yoga, that some of them have had experiences like this where they have, just transformed into light.
Yeah, it can be experienced naturally for sure. I mean, meditation is the real work. Like medicine will help to kick you into high gear for a little bit, but that's just temporary. It gives you a reference point on where to go to in your day-to-day life. So it's important to create, like, integration is the most important process. You have to create a lifestyle that feeds the process to sustain it in this third dimensional world. Because really what we're doing is we're activating gamma vibrations in our brain, and we're connecting and we're purging, and we're off somewhere in some other plane, but we don't live there. It's impossible to live there while we're here. So we have to find a way to we're
multidimensional beings. We're in a fucking ton of places at once, I think, and that's a lot for us to comprehend. Like, at night, when I was dreaming, I was working with the Arcturians a lot in my dreams, and I would call it going to school. And because I would wake up with all this new knowledge about things, like, what the hell is going on? And it was truly, like, it was amazing when they were working with me at the height of things. Now they're more like kind of call when you need us kind of thing, or they'll drop in for different things in my life. But it's truly amazing what's out there in the meditation space. I don't think people really get how life-changing it is until you start it. And a lot of my clients are like, well, I don't really like to meditate. You're doing it wrong. You know what I mean? Like,
well, a lot of people don't know how to meditate because they're so stuck in their limbic system, their monkey mind. And that's where the multi-dimensional approach, if you will, to addressing the physical body, the emotional body, the spiritual body come, because it has like a tenfold effect on the human body, right?
Yeah. And nutrition is such an important. I didn't want to say this, like, before I met you, but, like, because I wasn't this, like, huge nutrition, like, what I eat, I was like, oh, I can cheat. When I was like, now I can't, because I eat potato chips or anything, and it's like, Jesus, I can feel my vibration just immediately go.
No kidding.
Yeah. And it's like, once you can't unknow it, and you can't enjoy it. And then after that, it's like, well, shit.
Right. So this process is really all about taking responsibility of self. A lot of people want to, but they feel so lost. They have no guidance. And it's like the blind leading the blind. Because you look out in the regular world, and there's no help. There's no guidance. So that is why the world needs more of what we're doing.
And it's so bizarre to me that the answer is, oh, this is quackery. This is okay. Why are people who do the kinds of things that we do, why are we happier? Why are we living longer lives? Like, they've studied.
Again, that's gaslighting. So I don't even pay them any energy anymore. I'm not going to try to convince somebody with that belief system, because that's how they live. You want to live that life? Cool, fine. I'm going to go find my tribe, and we're going to be happy and do our own thing over here. Over here, right?
Yeah. And what's cool, I think that whole it takes a village thing is coming back now, and people are starting to work together slowly in small groups, because this whole COVID thing. But people are still, like, even, people are like, fuck COVID, this is bullshit. They are coming back together, this tribe, and where people help one another. And that's how we're supposed to be living. It is supposed to take a village to raise a kid. It's supposed to. That we're all helping one another and relying on each other and doing what we love, not just going to work to bring home a paycheck, and I see those little things changing, and all this contraction that was happening. Now it's like the expansion is trickling through, and it's like, fuck yeah, I'm, like, so ready for that. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming in a big way right now, right in the middle of it. So self-care, it's just all about self-care. If you're tired, be tired, sleep, chill. If you're energized, go expend the energy in a positive way, like, do things that make you feel good, but that are not addictive and not, like, hurting yourself in the process.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And look, it's
anything
almost
can be addictive too. If you can turn anything to an addiction if you want to.
Exactly.
Balance.
So
Yeah.
just balance. I mean, just take care of yourself right now. That's the bottom line. Just
And if you
keep.
don't know where to start, get a natal chart done. Start there. I think that's
Yeah.
Nahum is fabulous at what he does.
18. I still have 4 days left on my 40% off discount. So hurry up and jump on that shit before it's done.
Yeah, you guys heard on my last podcast episode with Nahum, he did my chart and just some amazing things. I keep re-listening to it because I'm like, oh shit, he pinpointed it. He said this. He called us out. It's like, oh wow, it's amazing. So yeah, guys, jump on that for sure. Yeah, I mean, astrology now that I'm learning it too is like I can't get enough of it. I'm totally addicted. It's like I just want to know more and more and more. And it's also with my intuition, combine those two. I see a much bigger picture when I'm doing readings for people. It's like,
absolutely.
Wow, how did I not have this component before? And how does everybody not know this? This is it's difficult. It's a difficult thing to learn. Astrology is, and it's very scientific, and it's
and you go way down some rabbit holes with it too. But
yeah.
But if you resonate with it, you resonate with it. Man. That's what's
Oh
all
yeah,
about.
I'm totally addicted to that though. I'm like every free time I have right now is like I'm obsessively compulsive reading about it. So, and every time I'm in the car, I'm listening to ebooks on So, well, listen, thank you so much again for being on the podcast. Like I know I'll have you back again. You're amazing guys.
I love, and I love your tribe, and I would also like to welcome you and all your people. Come check out the Opportunity Community. We're all building these tribes and these communities together. We're all doing amazing work. We have a live Zoom call every Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific. So download my free ebook on my website to get on the mailing list to get that, so you can join.
It's phenomenal. Yeah, I've been a part of that, and also the DNA-based nutrition thing, which is amazing. Yeah, it's game changer like stuff, guys.
We're doing some really next level shit here, for sure.
Yeah, some stuff that's gonna blow your freaking mind. So just stay tuned because we got more, don't we?
Yes. Hell
We're just getting started. So
exactly.
All right, Nahum. Well, we love you so much, and thanks again for coming on. We'll see you soon.
All right, thank you.
All right, bye.
Love y'all.